Hello and welcome. Today we're diving into a really fascinating topic, one that sits right at the intersection of nutrition and neuroscience. We're talking about using specific vitamins to actually help the body regenerate its own damaged nerves.
So let's just jump right in with a pretty powerful question. What if you could actively support one of the most complex repair jobs in the entire human body, rebuilding the intricate wiring of our nervous system? I know, it almost sounds like science fiction, right? But the research is pointing towards some very real, very tangible nutritional strategies.
So what's the core problem we're really trying to solve here? Well, it's often something called peripheral neuropathy. This is basically when the nerves outside of your brain and spinal cord, the ones in your arms, legs, hands, and feet, get damaged. This can lead to some really debilitating pain, numbness, and weakness. And it's not some rare thing. It can be caused by common issues like diabetes or even just certain vitamin deficiencies or exposure to toxins.
To really get a handle on the solution, we first have to appreciate the sheer scale of the challenge. Repairing a nerve isn't like healing a paper cut. It's an incredibly complex biological undertaking.
You see, when a nerve gets damaged, your body actually has its own built-in repair sequence. It's called Wallerian degeneration. And you can think of it as this automatic cleanup and rebuilding program, where your immune cells rush in and clear out all the debris from the damaged nerve. The big problem, though, is that this natural process is just agonizingly slow. And way too often, it doesn't fully restore the nerve's original function. And that's exactly where targeted support becomes so important.
So, if the body's own process can sometimes fall short, how can we lend a helping hand? Well, let's start with the A team, or in this case, the B team, the B vitamins. Think of them as a specialized construction crew, where every single member has a distinct and vital job in the whole nerve repair project. There's a reason they're called neurotropic. They are absolutely essential for a healthy nervous system.
First up, you've got vitamin B1 or thiamine. This is the crew's foreman, basically in charge of the power supply. Nerve cells have these massive energy demands, especially when they're trying to repair themselves, but they have no way to store fuel. So B1 is working around the clock, converting carbs into the raw energy that these nerve cells need, not just to function day to day, but to pull off the incredibly energy-intensive process of regeneration.
Next on the crew, we have B6, or pyridoxine. So if B1 provides the power, B6 makes sure all the messages actually get through. It's absolutely essential for creating neurotransmitters. These are the chemical signals that have to leap across the tiny gaps between nerve cells. Without B6, communication across the entire network just starts to break down.
And then we have B12, cobalamin, who I like to think of as the master architect of the crew. This vitamin is directly involved in rebuilding the nerve fibers themselves. And just as important, it's a key ingredient in producing myelin. That's the fatty protective sheath that insulates nerves, which is what allows signals to travel super quickly and efficiently.
So here's the real kicker. While each of these B vitamins is a star player on its own, they accomplish so much more as a team. And when you think about it, it makes perfect sense, right? B1 is providing the raw energy for this huge rebuilding project. B12 is actually reconstructing the nerve fiber and its insulation. And B6 is making sure the newly repaired nerve can communicate properly. It's like they cover energy, structure, and communication. It's this complete coverage that makes their combined effect so much more powerful than any single one alone.
Okay, so that protective insulation we just mentioned, the myelin sheath, it is so critical to how a nerve works that there's a whole other group of nutrients that specialize in it. You can think of them as the architects of the nerve's high-speed data cable. And the research on vitamin D here is just, wow, it's really striking. So if you look at the table, you'll see that while vitamin D2 offers some help, D3 is clearly the powerhouse. It leads to superior recovery and thicker, healthier myelin. But the real magic happens in that last row. When you combine D3 with our old friend vitamin B12, the effect is compounded. It leads to the best possible functional recovery and what researchers call maximum remyelination. It's just another perfect example of this incredible nutrient teamwork.
Now, vitamin C is fascinating because it basically attacks the problem from two different angles. First, it acts like a structural engineer. It's absolutely required to build the collagen-based scaffolding that cells need to wrap around the nerve to form myelin. But second, it acts as a kind of genetic key. Now, it doesn't change your DNA, but what it does is unlock the specific genes that tell a cell, okay, it's time to start the myelination process. So it literally provides the materials and turns on the instruction.
Okay, we've covered the builders and the insulation specialists. Now let's talk about the security team. The powerful antioxidants that defend nerves from further damage and can even help with the pain.
First up is Alpha-Lipoic Acid, or ALA. People call this a universal antioxidant, and what makes it so special is its ability to dissolve in both fat and water. That means it can get inside every single part of a nerve cell to protect it from oxidative stress. It even helps recycle other antioxidants, like vitamin C, making the entire defense system that much stronger. And for people suffering, this is critical. Clinical trials have shown it significantly reduces neuropathic pain.
And just to give you a real-world perspective on this, the source material actually noted the cost. As of June 2022, a clinically effective dose of 600 milligrams a day was estimated to cost a little over $14 a month, so it's a pretty accessible supportive therapy.
Our second powerhouse is acetyl L-carnitine, or ALC. This molecule is all about energy and regeneration. It plays a huge role in the mitochondria, the power plants of our cells, making sure nerves have the fuel they need. And studies have shown it not only promotes nerve regeneration, but specifically improves things like vibratory perception, which is actually one of the first senses to be lost in diabetic neuropathy. And again, for context, the estimated monthly cost for a clinically effective dose, in this case 2,000 milligrams a day, was around $28 based on that same June 2022 analysis.
So, we've looked at the B vitamin crew, we've met the myelin specialists, and we've covered the antioxidant defenders. Now, let's put it all together into a single, cohesive strategy. This is where we move from just talking about individual nutrients to a full-on, pro-regenerative approach.
Okay, pulling all of this together gives us the core takeaways for a really comprehensive strategy. First, the B vitamins just work better as a synergistic team. Period. Second, vitamin D isn't just a helper. You should think of it as a mandatory catalyst that kicks the whole process into high gear. Third, you've got vitamin C playing that unique dual role, unlocking the genetic instructions for repair. And finally, targeted antioxidants like ALA and ALC are your frontline tools for managing pain and supporting functional recovery. See, this isn't just a list of supplements. It's a multi-pronged strategy to support the body's incredible capacity to heal itself.
And that really brings us to our final thought for today. As we uncover more and more about the specific roles these nutrients play, it raises a really compelling question. While complex medical treatments will always have their place, is it possible that one of the most powerful keys to unlocking nerve regeneration has been hiding in plain sight this whole time, right in the vitamins and nutrients we consume every day? It's a powerful idea to think about. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.